All right, hey everybody, Kristine Morel here. I'm so stoked that you guys are here with me today. I'm going to be showing you guys something that I've never taught before, but I have a lot of experience in, and this is how I got my music published on popular websites, blogs, magazines, and even television networks, guys, like big television networks, big radio networks. I did this all without using a fan base, without a fan base at all. I mean, I'm talking like I didn't even, you know, have to tell anybody, hey, I have this many followers. I didn't have to build a big Spotify playlist. I mean, if you check me out on Spotify, guys, I actually don't even have a lot of Spotify, followers or plays or anything like that. But I've been on Fox, I've been on NBC, I've been on Power 106, I've been on Kiss FM. I do music for a living. I do anywhere from 200 to 300 shows a year. And I do this all. Again, no record label. I don't spend any money. I'm not over here hiring PR firms, public relation companies. I'm not hiring a lot of marketing companies. In fact, I never have. I built an entire music career performing and traveling the world. I've traveled 6 continents entirely from scratch. And that's without big budget. And a lot of you here right now are going, perfect, because I don't have any money, but I want to promote my music. So this is great. So I'm going to show you guys some tactics of how I built my music career. So, all right, I'm going to, if you don't know me, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit so that you guys can know that you are learning from somebody who has done this. I know there's a lot of people online that claim to know what they're talking about, and some of them do. But I would say the majority of people that I've seen online have no clue how to build a music career. And obviously, you want to learn from somebody who's done it. And I've managed to get myself published on a lot of cool things. Again, no record label, no fan base, not spending any money, and not even a manager, none of those types of things, guys. And I'm going to show you guys how I did it, but I'm going to give you guys a little introduction so you know that I have experience here. Everything I'm going to talk to you guys about is from my experience, okay? So this is not the only way. This is just how I've done it, all right? So here goes. Let's go into it. I'm going to give you a quick introduction. My name is Kristine Morel. Once again, I am a full-time musician, and I have been for the last 8 years. I do anywhere from 200 to 300 paid shows a year around the world. Without a manager, without a record label. I do not use my fan base or Instagram or Facebook to book any of my shows. I show people how to build from scratch. And I know a lot of people are like, what? That's so crazy. That's not real. She has to be lying. But I have proof. The proof is in the pudding, guys. I've done it all over the world. Now, I have a fan base now, so I don't want to confuse you guys. If you guys go to my Instagram, you're going to see I have, I don't know, something like 50-something thousand followers at the time of this video. But I actually don't use my Instagram to book anything. So of the 200, 300 shows that I do a year, not one show is booked off of social media. None of them are. Now, I'm not going to get into how to book shows today because that's something I've done on a whole different webinar. But all of these places that I'm going to show you, all these major television networks, all these magazines, all these places that I've been on, I also booked without using a fan base. It was not because of Facebook. It was not because of Instagram. It was not because of, a big Spotify playlist. None of that. It wasn't because of anything like that. I'm going to show you how I did it, and it's going to make sense once we go through this, and you're going to see it, and it's going to make sense to you. Right now, some of you are like, I don't get it, but that's okay. I would have never thought this either until I figured it out. So I'm going to show you guys how I did it. So, all right, here's some of the cool things that I've done. I've been on, this was me on NBC, getting interviewed and talking about, my music, and even talking about, touring and all kinds of cool stuff that I was doing. And for you guys right now watching, I mean, this is the time for you to think about what you want to do. What kind of networks have you ever thought about? Do you want to get your music played on the radio? Do you have a music video that you want to promote? Do you have a single, that you're putting out? Do you have something where you're like, man, this is a great song. I just don't know, how to get it out to the world, but I know if the world were to hear this, they would love it. I just need to get it out there. So, think about what it is that you're trying to promote. Here I had a story, I was talking about the tour that I was on, but my purpose behind it. Maybe some of you want to talk about your life story. Maybe some of you feel like, man, I have a great story, and I've been through a lot, and I know that my story could really, inspire other people. Maybe you want to book interviews, all this type of stuff. This is all, something that you want to think about because it's going to affect your strategy and how you make this happen. So I've been on some other really cool networks. including KTAB for You. This is another one I actually performed on this one. That's the great thing about major television networks and that sort of thing. You can perform your original music. In fact, they don't let you perform cover songs. So I know some of you are like, I got lots of original music. How do I promote my original music? Well, when you get on these really great stations, not only can they interview you, but you can perform, you can talk about your music, your single, your music video coming out, a tour, that sort of thing. And you use a lot of these things, getting media coverage. What's crazy is most people pay, right, to get media coverage. Like someone might pay a few $1,000s to get on the news or to, be able to perform on a major network or a radio station or a podcast. But I'm going to show you guys how to do it, how to get them interested in you without getting paid. And then what's great is you use opportunities like this. You use like, hey, I've been on NBC, I've been on Fox, I've been on this, to then book bigger things, right? So imagine if there was like a client who was like, hey, I'm thinking about hiring you for a show, but then you show them, oh, great. Well, here's some great highlights of my career. Well, then if they've seen that you've been on all these networks and you've done all these amazing things, they're more likely to hire you and they're more likely to pay you more. See, so you use all of these things as leverage. And I've used these things to do awesome things like, I've performed at LA Dodgers. This was really cool. I've never gotten to do anything like this before. And because of that, I've done more really awesome national anthems, performing sometimes in front of, 20,000 people or more. And so that's always been really, really cool to do. As you can see, I got to really be there, and a lot of my friends from all over the world saw it, and I thought that was really awesome. So this was me performing at on this was actually Fox, so this is Casa Fox 2. This was really cool because I've gotten to be on this network a few times. So what's really amazing is once you get on a network too, once you establish a relationship with, like, let's say, NBC or whatever it is, once they've decided that they really like you, every time you have a new album, every time you have a new CD or a new tour or something cool, you can reach out to them again. I've been on this network probably 3 times now, 3 or 4 times, about different things. And every time I go on, it's really cool. I'm now friends with the producers and friends with everybody there. Everybody knows who I am. So what's really cool is once you establish this relationship, you can continue to go on those networks over and over again if you do it right. And that's what we're covering today, right? How to do it right. I've also been in print. I love print, stuff like this, newspapers. This is really cool. This reaches a whole different demographic, obviously. So this is some of the performances that I've done. I've gotten published in a lot of online blogs and magazines and really popular websites. These are really great because if you get, published in websites, some of these have hundreds to thousands of subscribers. So imagine you get published just one time. So one time in a magazine, one time in an online blog. If that goes out to, let's say, 10,000 readers, think about that. Right away, your music video, your interview, whatever it is, has gone out to 10,000 people just like that in like 5 seconds, right? Just because you got one person to say yes. And that's what I love about media. See, if you're out there like doing more guerrilla type marketing, and I used to do this, guys, and I'll tell y'all guys more about that here in a little bit. I used to sell my music on the street and that sort of thing. But, if you're out there trying to get fan by fan, you only have so much time in a day, right? So if you're talking to one person at a time, that takes a long time. But that's why you got to think about your music really as a strategy. So, okay, I could spend the whole day trying to like bother each one of my friends on Facebook, each one of my friends on my cell phone, on WhatsApp, sending everybody my music video, but that takes a lot of time. Whereas if I get one blog to publish me, just one, that can go out to 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 people, depending on, their blog or their Instagram or whatever it is that they have. Well, think about that. If you get one, if you spend the whole day and only just get one, if you spend the whole week and just get one, and that goes out to 10,000 people, that is worth it. So you got to think really big. And that's what's great about media, is it can bring a lot of exposure and build your fan base very quickly. Like I said, this is another TV show I've done in the left there. Some more newspapers and radio stations. I've gotten to do a lot of red carpet events. So I use all my publicity as leverage, so when I'm booking, shows or events, I put it out there. And then because I have it out there on my Instagram, other people who are trying to, let's say, get popular people to their, events and that sort of thing, then they invite me to their events. They invite me to their red carpets. I get to do media and I get to do a lot of those types of things. So some of you who like those types of events and are wondering how you can get involved in those things, media coverage will help you. Media coverage will help you with everything you're trying to do. Once again, you're trying to book shows, you're trying to do a tour, you're trying to get signed with an agent, you're trying to get signed with a record label, you want a manager, whatever your goals are, getting media coverage will help you get there. It's like that ammunition that you need to get towards your goals. Okay, it'll help you build your fan base, help you do all those types of things. So here's me at some radio stations. This was on a tour that I did. So I've gotten to be on the front page of magazines. I've gotten entire spreads about me. I've been in a lot of different things. I've even been in Maxim. And again, no manager, no record label, nothing. These are just some cool things that I've gotten to do. And I share all this with you because I want you to get excited, guys, because I'm telling you, not only is this possible for you, but this is, as long as you have great music, as long as you've been out there and built a great product, you can do pretty much anything. And I know a lot of this seems like only lucky people get to do this. And take it from me. I'm from a small town in New Mexico. I raised pigs. I picked pecans. All my friends were farmers. I was very far from the music industry. We didn't have any money. I didn't know anybody that did music. So I had to build everything from scratch. So you can imagine for me, I lived surrounded by coyotes and lambs and cows at night. So this seemed like a whole other planet, a whole other universe. But I just made a decision that I wanted to do this, that this was all that I wanted to do. And some of you out there are feeling the same way. You're like, music makes me happy. This is the one thing that gets me excited. I want to do this and I'm going to figure it out. And that's why you guys are here right now, because you decided that you were going to be a go-getter and you were going to, take your music career into your own hands. Not only that, I've gotten to perform on really cool commercials. Mercedes-Benz, asked me to play piano. I wrote a song for one of their commercials, which was really, really cool. I wasn't even expecting this. I mean, because you get media coverage, imagine now if 10,000 people suddenly see your, your music or your music videos or, that sort of thing, then you're more likely to get asked to do these things. So Mercedes-Benz, their casting director actually reached out to me. So that's what's really cool, is that after getting lots of media, you can build a lot of opportunities for yourself. Again, these are just more things that I've done, and I'm going to get more into exactly how I did this, all these performing and that sort of thing. So that's basically my background in booking and media and that sort of thing. Is I'm not a professional at booking. I'm not a PR agent, guys. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't study musician marketing. I don't have a degree in anything. Okay. Nothing. I don't have a degree in anything at all. So I am telling you guys from literally someone who has learned just by doing it. Experience is the best teacher. Okay, so that's what's so great about this. So that's me in a nutshell. Now I'm going to get into what I'm going to be showing you guys today. Get excited because there are 3 things that I'm going to be showing you guys. Okay, and one is the one thing that I did that got TV networks, magazines, big internet blogs, and popular websites wanting to share my music and asking me to perform on their show without having to pay them. Isn't that cool? I'm going to show you guys how I did that. 2, I'm going to show you guys the 2 main things that are keeping you from ever getting published, shared, and can potentially keep you from going viral. Okay, this is the 2 main things that I learned that most artists don't even do. They don't even know that they need. I've never even talked about this in any of my other trainings, guys. This is stuff that I just really right now, because everyone is at home, and this is during quarantine again, but even, once everything gets back to normal, guys, this is all stuff you can do from home, from your laptop, when it's, maybe you work a 9 to 5 during the day, or maybe you work all day. And so you can't be out performing. Maybe you don't have time to be performing, but you want to be promoting yourself. This is all stuff you can do from home. And number 3, I'm going to show you how to find popular media outlets that want to feature your music, your tour, your story, your interview, or whatever it is that you are promoting. Okay, anything you're promoting. You can apply this to anything. You can have a candle business, guys. You can be selling candles. and you can apply it to that. I mean, you can be, if you're an author, you can apply it to your books that you're selling. I mean, this is, universal. You can apply these things I'm going to show you. Now, here's my disclaimer. Okay. The results I've gotten are not typical. Why? Because I work my ass off, and most people are not willing to work their ass off. Okay. That's just the truth. But if you put in the work, you're going to get results. Okay. And two, I cannot guarantee you're going to get published if you follow my method. Why? Because if your music isn't good, well, there's nothing I can do about that, right? I can show you how to contact all these networks. I can show you how to contact these television networks, these radio stations, podcasts, magazines. But if you don't have a good product, you're not going to get published. So you have to, this is your responsibility, make sure that you have something great to promote. Okay. If you have really crappy music, then none of this is going to work. So I'm just showing you guys how to promote something that's good. It doesn't even have to be amazing, just as long as it's good. You have something good, then you can get press. And guys, a big thing that I tell everyone, because people are always like, can you guarantee this is going to work? And I'm like, guys, there are no guarantees. If you want a guarantee, go get a regular job. You're not cut out for the music business, because the music business is ups and downs and lows and highs. And some days you're going to feel like $1 million, and some days you're going to feel like dirt on the ground. Like, that's just what the music business is. This is only cut out for people who have thick skin. If you're someone who's like, I don't know, I'm going to try for a day or a couple days or a couple weeks, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to quit. Don't even try. Just don't even try, because the music business is not for those. You need to have a big heart, a big soul. You need to be dedicated to your career. And a lot of you guys are, and that's why you're here right now. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. I'm really excited. We have been told, okay, and this is me on another show. This was a really cool show that I enjoyed. This was out in Los Angeles, that you have to have lots of money. Okay, now, does money help? Oh gosh, yes, absolutely, of course. If you have $1 million to throw at your album, that's great. But if you had $1 million to throw at your album, you wouldn't be on this webinar right now. You guys are here because you probably don't have a lot of money, and that's okay. So all you have to do is switch up your strategy. And that's what I'm going to be showing you guys. Okay. You also are told that you have to have a big social media following. Guys, I have told you that I've booked all of these things, all of these major networks, even this interview here, without even telling them what my social media following was. They didn't even care. They didn't even ask. All of this stuff is people's weird perceptions of what you have to have. Okay. There's a lot of things I always tell everyone. Like, people told me lots of things, that no one from a small town was going to make it. I got pregnant and I had my son. Everyone told me, if you get pregnant, your career's over. Guess what? I did like 300 shows that year while I was pregnant. And while I was like 7 months pregnant, I was still flying around the country, performing and getting paid thousands a night. Guys, like, this isn't what people say. You don't need to listen to what people say. Okay. You can listen to what I say because I'm telling you guys, you can do it. Listen to those people that are, breaking barriers. The last thing is that you have to get lucky for your music to go viral. How many of you have heard that? People say this all the time. They go, you know what? You have to get lucky because, if you have good music, then your music's just going to get published. And guys, that is not true. Okay. There's a small majority of people who like post something and yes, it goes viral and it's some like miraculous thing, but that's like 0.00001%. You as a musician, if you're going to take your music career serious, you have to look at your career like a business. And a business doesn't open up a restaurant and then not market it and then not get people there and not look up strategies and buy advertising. Or, if they can't afford advertising, then, at least they go out there and pass out flyers, or they go talk to people, or they invite people on social media, or give out free food. They do specials. They do different things to get attention to their business. As a musician, imagine if you opened a business and you're like, I'm just going to open a business and let it sit here and I hope people come. That's not going to happen. Chances are very, very low. Most people need a certain plan. Okay. And a lot of you don't have money, but that's okay, because there are incredible free ways to increase your chances of getting published and shared and going viral. Okay. Get it out of your mind that only lucky people go viral. That is not true. And also think about what going viral means to you. Some people are like, I want a song that gets played 1 million times. I want a song that played 100,000 times. Going viral to me is getting your music out there to as many people as you can. And, I consider, excuse me, I had a video that hit, 250,000 plays. I've had a video that's hit 1 million plays. I consider that going viral. And here's another thing to think about. If all you needed was talent, if all you needed was a good song, right? And all the great songs go viral, then wouldn't it be true that every time you turned on the radio, every song would be great, right? But I know that's not true. I turn on the radio and I'm like, how did some of this stuff get on here? Like, some of this is terrible. Some of these musicians are terrible. Some of these singers are not great. Lots of love to them. I think it's great that they're on there because they obviously knew their business and they were promoting themselves, and absolutely they deserve it in that sense. But that doesn't mean that they're the most talented. Doesn't mean that they have great songs. It means that they learned how to market themselves or how to put together a great team. Or maybe they had a lot of money, one of those things. But you can use some really great techniques to make yourself, to increase the chances of going viral. And talent doesn't always equal success. So this is always something you have to come up with a plan, guys. You have to have a plan of execution. Now, when I first started, check this out. This is my first album. How funny is this? This was back in 2002, 2002, something like that, 2003. And guys, I shot this with I'm going to totally date myself right now. With a disposable camera. I shot this, and look at how depressing I look. I was so sad and emo. I was super emo. But I shot this, and I duplicated 1,000 CDs, and I was selling my music, going door to door, because I just thought, I'm going to put the work in. I was determined to get out there and start a music career, and I was going door to door, and I did this, for years. I did this for 8 years, guys. I was going door to door selling my music. I was, paying for those festivals and stuff that you see online where they're get discovered and there's going to be A&Rs here and you can sign a big record deal. I got scammed out of so much money. Thousands and thousands of dollars I've spent, and I didn't even have that money. I was on the street selling my music. So I was scraping quarters and change together to barely make enough to get out there, you know what I mean? And I was sending emails out, and I was, just doing as much as I could at the time. At the time, we didn't have Facebook or anything like that, but, I was online and I was building my website, and I was out on the street selling my music, and it was it'd be 120 degrees and I'd be selling my music out there. And I just thought that everything had to be so hard. There's so much hard work. And I meet musicians all the time that are yeah, you have to live this scavenger lifestyle where you're barely surviving and you're barely getting through it. And guys, look, I actually released 7 albums before I ever made any money. So you can imagine, look, I did 7 albums. All my money went to this. I was selling these on the streets. I sold probably 1,000 of each. I released 7 studio albums. I occasionally got press, every now and then I would get press. But I was just leaving it up to luck. I thought that I had to just keep releasing music and that one day somebody was going to discover me. And how many of you guys have heard that? Somebody's going to discover you. Or how many times have your friends gone, man, you're so talented. Just keep doing what you're doing because someone's going to discover you. And guys, I don't think that mentality is empowering at all. And I don't ever think that. In my mind, I never think someone is going to discover me. That's not how I think now. Now, that's how I thought back then when I was broke and struggling and trying to get heard. I thought somebody's going to discover me. But it wasn't until I said, you know what? I can do this myself. I have the power to do this. If someone else has the power to go discover people or to go help people build their career, they're just a human being like I am. So I'm perfectly capable. Think about this, guys. A record label is just a bunch of other human beings who started out just like you. They were a little baby. They grew up. Maybe some of them went to college. Some of them didn't. They struggled. They've had normal jobs. They have normal lives. They have families. They have all the same problems and wonderful experiences that you do. They're no different than you. They just made a decision to take that position and grow their career in that way. Guys, you have the same option. You can choose to build your career, and that you can, hey, I'm going to be my own agent. I'm going to book my own shows. I'm going to book myself on media. I can be my own PR agent. This is just a decision that you have to make. And so for me, I remember the first time I heard about PR companies, and I was like, what's a PR company? And guys, if you don't know what a PR company is, they're companies that you can pay, and they're very expensive, usually a few $1,000s a month to get a good one. and they're very expensive, and they'll help you get, interviewed and on TV stations and stuff like that. But there's no guarantees, right? They can't guarantee they're going to get you on there. In fact, if they get you on nothing, you still have to pay them thousands of dollars. So that's kind of expensive. I remember the first time I hired a PR guy. I had a music video that I was going to put out, and I paid this guy $1,800. And that's actually pretty cheap for a PR company. It's not bad. It's kind of like middle ground. I paid $1,800, and I thought, okay, I at the end of it, I got my music on a few cool things. My music was on a few different stations, and I got some PR work. This was one of the things that he got it published on. It was Events magazine, which I thought was pretty cool. And I thought, man, well, what did he do? Like, why is he able to charge $1,800? I thought, he's just a person like me, just like me. He's just another human being. And if he can go out there and do PR work and do this for a living, right? If someone's willing to pay him to do this, then he must be doing something right. So I started looking into what he was doing. And I'm like, what are you sending them? I asked him, so what are you sending them? What are you doing? And he said, I'm sending them a press release. I said, what's a press release? So I started looking into what a press release was. I read the one he wrote for me, and I saw that, man, this was really great. What it did was, it was this attention grabbing. I mean, imagine if you were a newspaper or a television station or radio station, and 100 artists, sent you something. They were like, I want to be on your station. I want to be on your, podcast. I want you to interview me. And you, even though they're wonderful, you don't have time to research each artist. You don't have time to go through their story and their huge biography and find their website and find their whatever it is, Reverb Nation or their Bandcamp or whatever it is. You don't have time for all that. But imagine one person sends you a press release, and it's a few paragraphs, and it makes them sound really great. It's really attention grabbing. You listen to their song, it's awesome. Out of those 100 people, you're going to pick them because you don't have time. You don't have time. If you own a podcast, you own a TV station, there's a million other things you have going on. And, getting a musician on your station is not your priority. You're working on like big news and big stuff like that. So if you're a musician trying to get on a station, you don't have money, you got to get their attention. And once I figured out how to do this, and don't worry, I'm going to cover it. But once I figured out how to do this, I started getting published in all kinds of things. That was, here's Altitude, here's another newspaper. This was when I finally started getting on Fox and, NBC, and this was me at Kiss FM, very, very popular, big radio station. Kiss FM and Power 106 are, two of the biggest stations in the world. They're gigantic. And this was without a hit song. Guys, normally to get on these things, you have to have a big hit song. Guys, I didn't even have a hit song. At the time that I got on both of these, I had a song that I recorded that I, that they played and everything, but I hadn't even had probably more than 1,000 plays on it. Like, it probably had a few hundred plays. They didn't put me on their show because I had 100 plays. They put me on because I presented myself in a way that was very interesting, and I'm going to get into that. And that was how I ended up performing on Casa Fox 2, which was awesome, and all these other, amazing media outlets that I'm going to show you guys more about. So let's get into, I know that you guys are excited to get started. So am I. We're going to dive into some really incredible things today that you're going to leave with and get to apply. You can literally watch this training and leave from this online training and go right to working on your music career. So let's get into it. These are the things that I'm going to show you. I told you guys a little earlier. Number one, the one thing that I did that got TV networks, magazines, big internet blogs, and popular websites wanting to share my music and asking me to perform on their show without having to pay them, right? This is a big one, right? Because usually it's you begging other people or people having to pay other people to let them on, that sort of thing. So how do you get people to want you on their show? Okay, first, you got to figure out what you're promoting, okay? You got to figure out, am I promoting my album? Am I promoting a single? Am I promoting a tour? Am I promoting just myself as a brand? I'm trying to talk about myself and do interviews. What are you promoting? So that's the first thing. But once you figure that out, this is a game changer, okay? You have to think about this. Ask yourself this one question. What is my story? Okay? When you think of a media outlet like a TV station, they call it a story too. Hey, what's the story? Okay? Is a song a story? No, a song's not a story. If you hand someone a song, there's no story about that. There's nothing, that incredibly interesting about it, right? But let's say someone wrote the story, a guy wrote it as, his, wife was cheating on him with his best friend. Now that's a story, right? Now that song has someone's going to be interested in that song because there's a bit of a story there. Or let's say someone wrote a song while they were, on a maybe they're in the military and they were in Iraq during that time and they wrote this song in, the hardest point of their life. That's a story, okay? So everything that you do needs to come with a story. If you guys noticed, as I was telling you, about trying to show you guys how I've, come across certain things that I've learned, I tell you it in the form of a story. It's very important because this is what grabs people's attention. And this is what gives TV stations ratings. So if you think about this, if you're trying to get on a TV station, you're trying to get on a media outlet, always consider they don't care about you. They don't owe you anything, okay? The world does not owe you a single thing. When you're going on these networks, you actually owe them. They're giving you tons of exposure. They're exposing you to tons of people all over the city, state, country, world, right? So what you got to think about is, what do they want and what do I want? So me as an artist, I'm going to go, I want exposure. I want to be on this TV station. So then I'm going to think, well, what does this TV station want? This TV station wants ratings. If they want ratings, I have to give them a very interesting story. Okay. And this goes for podcasts. This goes for magazines. This goes for everything. So this is what you're going to ask yourself. What makes me interesting? What makes my music different? Right? And I'll give you guys an example. I mentioned earlier that, when I got pregnant and I was performing all over the country, I'm a single mom. That's part of my story. There's a lot of people that want to hear about how a single mom is still performing 300 shows a year. That's crazy, right? So there's going to be a lot of moms out there that are like, whoa, I don't even have kids and I don't even perform. How is she doing it with kids, even though everybody says that you can't do that, right? So that's part of my story. There's always something interesting about all of you out there, right? What makes my music different or what makes me different? Always ask yourself, would I want to watch me? I always joke about certain things, and I have a bunch of, just different clients. Some people who are just like, oh, I wrote this song about love. And I'm like, well, what about, like, you got to get transparent, right? You got to tell people what happened. And I know sometimes it might put you in an uncomfortable place, but that's what makes people want to hear about your story. That's why reality television is so popular now, right? Because people like the real story, even though reality television is not real, but they like to think it is, right? They like to see somewhat unscripted type material, right? So they want to know the real you. They want to know the real story. And I always joke, because I have a lot of like hip hop clients and stuff, and a lot of them are going, man, you know what? I want to shoot this music video, and I'm gonna have money everywhere and cars, and there's gonna be girls in like bikinis and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's fine if that's what you want to do. No judgment whatsoever. But from a media perspective, what makes you different than every other hip hop artist out there, right? If you're reaching out to a hip hop blog, a magazine, whatever it is, whatever media outlet you're reaching out to, is that magazine going to look at your video and go, wow, that video is really unique and different? No, they're going to see that it's just like every other music video out there. And recently, one of my readers wrote me to let me know that they had bought one of my books, and they were like, wow, I got all kinds of media and press just within 3 days. And I was like, that's really cool. And I checked out his music, and he's a hip hop artist, really talented rapper. But his song was about his child. So him and his child's mom, the child's mom was not letting him see his son. And the song was about what he was going through, experiencing that. So the song was really beautiful. It had a message. It was filled with sadness and anger, but it was poetry. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. It was a really great song. And I thought, this is so unique, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, because most hip hop artists aren't really talking about like really meaningful stuff. And you don't have to do it this way, guys. I'm just sharing an awesome thing to think about, that when you're creating something, you think about, what is everyone doing and how can I be different? Or if maybe your song isn't that unique, but your music video is, or Maybe your music video, maybe you already shot your music video and you're like, darn it, I'm just watching this webinar now. I wish I would have known this before. That's okay. The next thing you can think about is what's different about my story then? Because as you're on these media outlets, you can talk about how, hey, do you know how I actually paid for this music video? I sell burritos on, the street corner, stuff like that. Like, I used to sell my music door to door. That was a big thing. I sold my music singing on people's doorsteps. All these things are interesting. So you can either make the song interesting, you can make the music, interesting, talk about your story, but all of it needs to be wrapped up in a story, because you need to give these TV stations ratings. These magazines need to have readers that find an interesting story, right? Your story needs to be interesting. So, that's one thing to ask yourself. Would I want to watch me? Would I find myself interesting if I have a million channels, a million blogs, a million magazines, TV stations, and I was flipping through the channels? Would I stop to hear my story? And that's what you got to focus on. So another big question, why should they choose me over other people who are submitting to their website and media outlet? Just like I said, what makes you different than all the other 1,000 country music artists, singing about heartbreak? What makes your heartbreak so different, right? Because this is the thing, you're competing against people that have money. So some people are paying these websites. So, there were a lot of people that wanted to get on Fox, guys. I got on because of the story that I shared with them. And, when I got on Fox, I was touring around the United States, performing for kids for free. And I was telling my story about going through, physical abuse and all kinds of stuff like that. And so I was talking about my story and encouraging other people. And, it was interesting to people. And it was a great, heartwarming story. And it was something that people really, it resonated with people. So I was able to get on these big, networks because, hey, that's a great thing that you're doing. We want to talk about it. And I was sleeping on people's couches. That was a big story. I was sleeping on strangers' couches. That's how I traveled around the United States. I was traveling around in a Jeep with a friend of mine, and we literally stayed on strangers' couches all around the country. So that was a big story. So not only was it charity, not only did nobody pay for it, I booked it myself. I didn't have an agent. So that's a story. Then I'm sleeping on friends' couches. Strangers' couches. That's a story. All these things are very interesting. So think about what makes your story. And then also the last thing, do any of my songs relate to current trending topics and news? So, right now at the time of me filming this, it's during the quarantine for COVID. So people are not allowed to, go outside. Everyone's, inside. And there's this beautiful song called Rise Up. I will rise up. And it was from years and years ago, but it's resurfaced because it's a great song about people, finding strength and that sort of thing. So also, you can also look at your music and go, man, I have this great song that pertains to what's going on right now. Now would be a good time for me to reach out to media, with this particular song. So always think about that. And I'm going to give you guys a few examples, okay? It can be something heartfelt. Right? Here's an example. Are you doing a tour in honor of a lost loved one? Okay, that's a good heartfelt story. Inspiring. Did you overcome a disability or great disadvantage to pursue your music career? That's inspiring. That's a great story. Charity. Are you performing for disadvantaged children or the elderly? Great story. Interesting. Is your band performing with instruments made from garbage you found in the alley? I've actually done this on stage. My drummer. We created a drum set made out of tin and all kinds of crazy stuff. That is interesting. People are going to want to hear about that. And last, humorous. Were you living with your grandma when you recorded your whole album about how you have a ton of money? That's pretty funny, right? If you jumped on an interview to talk about how, hey, I was actually eating my grandma's porridge when I got the idea of like, I'm a billionaire. You know what I mean? Like that would be really funny to talk about that, to talk about how, strange that was that you were talking about money while sleeping at your grandma's house. So always think about something that is interesting. You have to create that story. So that's the main thing that I did and that most artists skip. That's the one thing I did that got TV networks, magazines, big internet blogs, and popular websites wanting to share my music. At this point, when people knew what I was doing and I had something very interesting to talk about every time I've created a story, and guys, I've done this for everything I've done. I've done this when I've released a new music video. I've done this when I've released singles. I've done this when I went on tour. I've done this. I've always created my story, made myself, seem very interesting. And that's whenever I got on, like really cool things like Fox and NBC, right? Here's me backstage actually watching my live performance on set at Fox. Here's me on set, pretending to be a reporter right there. And this was awesome. This was really, really cool. So once you have that story, your story locked in, right? That very first thing that you have to come up with. Now we need to move to number two. These are the two main things that artists don't do, and why this is keeping you from ever getting published, shared, and can potentially keep you from going viral. Okay? What you need to do is, after you have your story, now you can create your press release. Your press release is what you send to TV stations, radios, magazines, online blogs, popular websites, all these things, so that you can gain their attention, right? This is how you present your story, right? Because you can't call them on the phone and talk to them for 30 minutes about your story. You just can't do that, and they don't have the time. There's a million other things that they have to do. Again, they don't owe you anything. Keep that in mind, okay? So you have to present yourself in the easiest and most simplest way for them to see that you're awesome, right? You have awesome music, you have an awesome story. How do you get that to them? Okay, so press release, I'm going to show you the very basics of a press release so that you can write one for yourself. And I'm going to give you a few examples as well. So first, you're going to come up with a headline, right? And your headline is going to be what's interesting about you combined with what you're promoting, right? If you're promoting a single, and or let's say your here, I'll give you examples here. Here's your band will perform in Los Angeles. So right there you go. There you're promoting your performance to benefit disabled veterans, right? So there is your story, right? And you have to do this in one sentence, guys. Here's the next one. Bullied singer overcomes depression. So there's your story, and releases album of uplifting songs. There is your what you're releasing, what you're promoting, right? Here's another one. Indie artist Happy Billy tours the US, so that's what you're promoting, the tour, while sleeping in his van, and documents tour on Instagram. There is your story. Do you see how this works, guys? The Latin band Caliente releases albums. That's what you're promoting. Of lyrics created from love letters they found in their parents' journals. There is your story. See how great that is, guys? Like, someone will look at that right away and go, oh, wow, this indie artist is touring the US while sleeping in his van and documents his tour on Instagram. I got to check this out right away. Instead of, Sarah releases a great album of some really pretty songs. Which one is more interesting? Oh, really pretty songs? There's a million people out there that are more talented than you, that are cuter than you, that are better than you in every way, okay? But you have the advantage if you know these things that I'm teaching you, because there's a million of people out there that are talented. And guys, think about this. I mean, think about when you watch American Idol and you think about The Voice, it's not always the most talented people on there. There's always a million other people that are more talented than them. They focus on stories, and that's how they get ratings, right? Like, and guys, you don't have to be, a lot of people come to me and they go, no one's going to want to interview me. I'm not super successful. And I'm like, well, watch American Idol. How many people want to hear a story about, a girl who's had an easy life and won the lottery and just puts her money into her album? Like, that's not as interesting as here is a single dad who's a waiter and records his albums on the weekends and has to, hold his son while he records his songs. Like, that's not glamorous, but that is so interesting and respectable, and it's a story. And if you use your story and you're transparent about your story, people are going to love it, and they're going to relate to you. Because how many people can relate to somebody that's won the lottery? You can't. And people are going to relate to you the more transparent that you are. So these are great headlines. In your press release, you're going to want to include a few paragraphs. Like, you're going to want to keep this really short. But you're going to want to elaborate on the headline, right? So and I'm going to give you some examples. And you're going to talk about, what you're promoting. Are you promoting that album, that new music video? This is where you're going to want to share that news and a little bit more about it. If you're touring, you can put the next few tour dates along with the cities. Don't list the entire rest of your tour. Just a few next dates will be great, or just whatever's relevant, right? So if you're, trying to get on a TV network in Alabama, then maybe you only talk about the dates where you're performing in Alabama, for example. So And third, the sprinkles on the cake, you can put quotes from other magazines or fans are great. And guys, one time I released a music video where I didn't have any quotes, I had no comments, nothing. So you know what I did? I just made it funny and I put quotes from my mom. I put like, she's the best artist in the whole freaking world. And I put, my mom, and it was just cute and it was fun, and that sort of thing. And people could see that I had a sense of humor. Here you can put if you've had any awards, radio play, or recognition you've received. And guys, if you haven't had any big awards or radio play or recognition, don't worry about it. You don't have to put it. Focus on your story. Okay. Here you can include contacts of person in charge of media inquiries. So, if that's you, then you just put, hey, contact so-and-so for more information. Because, like I just recently, I'm going to be on 2 covers of 2 new magazines coming out, which I think is freaking awesome. So, they needed certain photos from me. So they contacted me to let me know that they needed certain pictures and stuff. So they may contact you because they may ask for, hey, do you have a photo of you holding your album? Or, hey, can you shout us out? There's radio stations that have said, oh, sure, we'll play your music if you can just record a shout out to our DJ, so then I sent them shout outs, that sort of thing. And then you're going to include relevant links. Where to get show tickets, where to download your free song if you're giving away a free song, where to buy your new album, that sort of thing. Whatever you're promoting, put those relevant links. Keyword relevant. Don't put like 50 links to videos, guys. Put like 3 links at the most, okay? And tips, keep everything ideally on just 1 page because more than that can be information overload. Always keep in mind, these people are getting a ton of requests. Keep yours simple and straight to the point. Make them do the least amount of work that they can, and they're going to love you for it, okay? I'm going to give you an example of a couple press releases. So here's one. Let's say you're an experienced artist that's going on tour, okay? Here's an example of that. Here's Happy Billy, concerts from a van tour. So, indie artist Happy Billy tours the U.S. while sleeping in his van and documents on Instagram, right? So we talked about that headline. Let's elaborate a little bit. Happy Billy has been traveling around the U.S. on his North American tour with nothing but his guitar and his 1991 van that he bought on Craigslist for $1,000. See how I created a story here? Because I also put this here because if I'm going to be interviewed, I just made it very easy for someone to ask me a very fun question. Now they know that I bought my van on Craigslist for $1,000, right? Or that microphone that you bought online, or, your grandma gave you a guitar or whatever it is that's interesting. Now they can ask you about that and you can talk about it. It's an interesting story. He is performing at Georgie's Bar in Nashville on December 6th and his next stop in the Concerts from a Van tour. He's been gathering avid followers as he always performs an encore show while standing directly on his van in the venue parking lot. See how that makes it very easy for someone to ask that. Like, what? You perform on top of a van? Now, guys, you don't have to be doing anything absurd like this, but these are just things to think about. Do you perform, always carrying your lucky rabbit's foot or whatever that your grandfather gave you before he passed away? That's a great story to share, right? Or, hey, do you have a crazy routine? Like, do you do like 50 jumping jacks, 10 push-ups, and then lick the floor, before you jump on stage? That's something funny to talk about, like just focus on, these are funny things to talk about, and if you can incorporate some of these funny things into here, that's great, while still focusing on what you're performing. So, here I just focused on that he performs directly on his van during his tour. So here, other relevant information. Happy Billy released his accompanying EP, Songs Recorded in My Van, right? So then he recorded the songs in his van, produced by George Campbell, who also camped out in his van temporarily while recording this project. Like, it just makes a really cool brand, right? And because it's a great story. Not only that, you'll be able to make awesome artwork, right? Your album cover can be you in a van, So these are just things to think about as you're creating your music. Hey, how do I create something that would make a great story? And after you've, recorded and created your music, what made this interesting, or what makes my childhood interesting? It doesn't have to be the album itself. It can be the story of how you became a musician, or it can be how you're promoting the album. Like, you don't have to limit yourself to anything. Just think about anything that is interesting, that is somehow relating to what you've created and what you're sharing. Then you can put a little short bio here. Happy Billy began his musical journey in 2014 when he picked up an old guitar at a pawn shop. Since then, he's performed on the streets of New York, Philadelphia, Boston, and other major U.S. cities while supporting himself completely off of tips that he made on the streets, right? I sold my music on the streets. Some of you guys are selling CDs out of your trunk. That's a great story. Sometimes you can talk, think about, you know, um, think about some of those things and, write again, what are you doing that's different than everybody else? What makes you unique? Right. So then the last thing is your contact information. Please get in touch with Billy@happybilly.com for guest list interviews or promo copies. Put the website and put the Facebook and iTunes or whatever it is, again, that is relevant to what you're promoting. Excuse me. So I did another quick example. Here's a simple one, right? Let's say you are not touring. Let's say you're promoting an album, and something I just put together this real quick, you know, um, headline and first paragraph. Bullied singer overcomes depression and releases album of uplifting songs, right? So you can be brand new, guys. You don't have to be touring. You don't have to have all this experience under your belt or to be doing anything, really crazy right now. It could just be something based on your past that's interesting about you. So John Smith just released his first album, Letters from John, and is inspiring others to forgive anyone who has caused them pain throughout their lives. Like, that's already a great, okay, cool, he released an album and there is his story. He paired his R&B melodies with his love for guitar playing into what he calls therapy for his own healing and has helped his fans and followers in the process. Awesome. From uplifting songs about finding strength to songs written from despair, this album is a must listen for anyone who loves anything written deeply from the heart. Check out what fans are saying. So, and this is what you can do is you can ask your fans, send your songs out to people and see what they say. And then you can put their quotes, right? John Smith's album saved my life. I felt alone until I listened to this album. I can't believe how much I related to each of his songs. Great music, but incredible lyrics, right? So that's for some, you don't have to have all kinds of experience under your belt. You just focus on your story and what you're promoting. Of course, then you'd go into your other things, right? Your short band bio, your short bio, your contact information, and that sort of thing in here. But I wanted to give you an example for those of you who might get intimidated going, I'm barely starting out. Guys, again, that's what is so interesting about you. If you're an elementary school teacher, that's interesting. Don't leave that out, because some people are like, I'm embarrassed. I just wanted to make it seem like I'm already doing it. That whole, fake it till you make it thing. Guys, it doesn't have to be that way. You are interesting on your own. Okay. So the next thing that I would suggest to do with your press release is to put it into an eye-catching one sheet. If you've never heard of a one sheet, I'm going to show you guys what that looks like, right? So here's what a press release looks like, just basic. Now let's look at what it looks like when you put it into a one sheet. See how cool that is? So on this left side, we have a rapper, and he is promoting himself to get interviews. And on the right side, we have a gospel singer who's promoting an album. So you see how each one is going to contain different information. So this guy that's promoting an album, he has his track listing, he has a barcode because he's probably selling an album. He has information about the album, right? Everything is about the album. Where here, everything is about him and social media and his story, right? So he's more looking at getting like press and that sort of thing to talk about, to interview him. Where this guy specifically wants to focus on his album. And that's why I always tell you, figure out what it is that you want to promote. So I found another young lady's press release, and this looks great. She's focusing on her album. If this is a single, you focus on your single. If this is a tour, focus on your tour, right? So A, I put it right here. Name of the act. B, she put her social media and info. She put her C for the press photos. D is her album artwork and info, okay, about the album. E is her short bio. F is her selling points and contact info. So right here in this biography area, you would put kind of what those paragraphs are that you put in the press release. Now, you're going to keep the press release and a one sheet. Okay, you want to have both because the one sheet is really, it just depends on how someone prefers to get their information. But it's always great to have a one sheet and the press release, because a press release makes it really simple for them to just kind of copy and paste it into their magazine, for example. So always think about, if you've made, your bio right here, this section, really easy to read. You've covered all the interesting points. Let's say someone has a magazine and they don't have time to write a whole article about you. but then they see that you've sent it to them, you've done all the work already, they're just going to copy and paste it into their magazine. See how much you've made their life much easier? If they're getting 100, submissions a day, always keep in mind you want to be different and that you want to do all the work for them because you want to make it, the least amount of effort that they have to put in to get you featured. They don't have time to spend a whole day looking up your information, right? If you've gathered it all for them, they can just copy and paste it. That's what's so awesome about this. And guys, I just want to share something with you. If you've never been on any of my webinars, then this is great for me to share with you. I actually reached out to a few charities when I did my charity tour, and I ended up partnering with Michelle Obama, her charity. And that was really good for press for me. And the way I got, the partnership with Michelle Obama's charity, I sent them a press release. I sent them a one sheet about what I was doing. Guys, I didn't have a big hit song. I didn't have a record label. I didn't have a manager, nothing like that. Like, this is all an incredible way to reach out, to people, to show them that you're organized. You got a nice looking press lead, a nice looking one sheet that talks about why you're interesting and why they should include you. Big companies can absolutely get behind you because I had a purpose and I was going out there and they loved my story. They loved that I was sleeping on strangers' couches. They loved that I was performing for kids for free, right? So there's no limit to what you can do. Now, a lot of you guys are going, well, how do I create a one sheet though? I don't know how to do it. So I'm going to show you guys, if you're not a graphic designer, you have no idea how to do this. There's this great website called canva.com. If you've never heard of it, go to it, please. They have all these templates where you can literally just drag and drop everything. I spent 5 minutes, guys, really quick. I was just messing around with some templates and I made this really fast. And you can definitely make it look way better than this. This was just literally 5 minutes. I just pasted in my bio some, cool information there, pasted some photos, and look, it already looks so much better than if I just wrote them an email, right? See how much better that looks? Now, if you're still confused and you're like, man, I don't want to do it myself, I'd rather have someone else do it. Here's another option for you. There's a website called Fiverr. If you've never heard of it, you can go on there and you can hire people that work remotely and very cheaply. A lot of these people are also from out of the country, so our dollar is even worth more to them than within the United States. So it's great because you're just employing people from all over the world that work remotely. And I looked it up and I searched artist one sheet design. I searched media kit for artists. A bunch of things came up of people that will do this for you. And guess what? $10. Like, all of them were not more than $10. And I just took a few screenshots of some of the one sheets that they created and see how great those look. Like, imagine if you were a radio station, you got that, you'd go, hey, I got to check this artist out, because they definitely take their stuff seriously. And the very last thing, okay, besides this press release one sheet that I did, was I did something that was really awesome. And I've talked about this before, but the last thing that I did was I created something that sealed the deal. How did I seal the deal and get booked for media? What was my main thing, right? Well, what I did was I created something called talking points. I call it talking points. I don't know if that's a real name or what, but what I did was I created talking points, or I created predetermined questions. Okay, one or the other. You can do it in whichever form you like. I created things where I sent them a list of questions that if they don't have time to look me up, here's some questions about me, right? So, like, for example, like I used the example earlier about the guy who bought his van off of Craigslist for $1,000, right? No one would know to ask you that question. Hey, I heard, did you buy your van off of a very interesting website? Nobody would know that, right? And for them to find that about you, they'd have to do all kinds of work and research on you. And that's a lot of work on their end. So what I did instead was I created talking points and predetermined questions where I just put the questions in format for them. I wrote them a nice little letter and in a document. I said, hey, to save you some time, I put together some interesting talking points that I think you might find, that your readers might want to hear about, or that your listeners or viewers might want to hear about. And then I had like 10 interesting points, right? So for you, that might be, hey, so where did you record this album? That might be a question to ask if you recorded it in your grandma's closet, right? That's really interesting. So you can put that. So you can put, where did you record this album? And then you could put a note, to the journalist or whoever you're sending this to, I recorded this in my grandma's album, in my grandma's closet. That's why I think your readers would love to hear about this. So if you want to ask me that question, I can elaborate on how my grandma used to make me pancakes, and then I'd go record my song about how I have billions of dollars. You know what I mean? Like, that's really funny. Or I created, predetermined questions, like when I created that partnership with Michelle Obama's charity. I would tell the journalist, hey, ask about that. So then I'd write down, hey, I heard you, created a partnership with Michelle Obama's charity. How did you do that? Right? That's a great question for them to ask. And they would have no idea whether to ask that if they didn't have the time to look me up. So I did a podcast the other day and I did the same thing. I walked in, I had 10 predetermined questions of things that I wanted to talk about and that I suggested, right? I don't go in there and go, this is what we're talking about. Instead, I go, here are just some suggestions of some interesting things that I thought you might find that your readers and listeners would really like to hear about. And you've done the work for them. You've saved them so much time. This is like the sprinkles on the cake, guys. So that's, the one thing that I did that got on TV networks, and got them to, ask me to be on their show was create my story. The two main things that are keeping you from ever getting published and shared and can potentially keep you from going viral, that's taking that story and putting it in printed form, right? That's your press release and your one sheet, and creating your talking points. And 3, let's get into some fun stuff now. How to find popular media outlets that want to feature your music, your story, your tour, or whatever it is that you're promoting. So let's get into that. The first thing you got to think about, what do you want to get on? You always have to have very clear intention, okay? Do I want to get on magazines? Do I want to get on blogs, radio stations, websites, podcasts, television stations, all of the above? Cool, whichever, if there's one or all of them, great. So what you start is you start with one. Let's say you wanted to get on a TV station, all right? We're going to go big first. I want to get on a TV station in Phoenix, and this is how I booked my TV stations. So you're going to go to Google, okay? TV stations in Phoenix. No brainer, right? So I'll show you what comes up with when I looked up TV stations in Phoenix. So there's a website, ABC 15, Arizona, Phoenix. So this comes up along with lots of other TV stations. So I clicked on their website. And when I went to their website, I looked around and I saw that there was something called, they had their menu here. I'm looking for a contact link. So I clicked on it and something came up, and on the bottom came up about us. Now this is going to look different on everyone's website, okay? Because everyone has created their website differently. But after I clicked on about us, there came a number for the front desk, right there. So what I did at that point is I called the front desk and I say, hi, my name's Kristine. I was wondering how I can submit a story for possible consideration. They're going to have an email, or they're going to have a form online. They're going to have something. And again, every single website's going to be different. They're going to have something to send you. And that's where you can send it in. Or maybe on the website, it's already going to have a link. It might say, hey, do you have a story that you want to submit? Submit here. Guys, you can do this for Oprah. Like, you can do this on any big level that you want. You can literally submit a story to Oprah Winfrey on her website for consideration, and they're going to get that. Most people don't know that. And think about it, most people probably don't have their one sheet and their press release done right? They might just be, sending in a paragraph of, hey, you should, share my story. Or you should, hey, I'm a great singer and I wrote this song about love. You should include me. I mean, that's not very interesting. But when you, tie in all these other interesting things that you send in, and have it very presented in a professional format, then they can actually consider having you on. So that's what's great about this. I looked up another one. I looked up popular country music blogs, and there was a great website that came up that said 24 country music blogs to follow. So I clicked on it, and this place called Whiskey Riff came up. Now, guys, I'm not a country music artist and I don't even listen to country, so I don't really know much about any of these sites. But when I saw it, I thought, man, this looks like a big site. I bet they don't even accept, submissions. But you know what I did? I actually look right here. There was a link. I clicked on a link and it said about us. So I clicked on about us. When I went here, there was all their social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And I thought, okay, if I was a country artist, I would reach out to them all of these platforms. I'm not afraid to bother the heck out of everybody, guys. Because the other thing is, you don't know if they just have an intern handling their Facebook, right? So if an intern is checking their Facebook, they don't care about your story and they may not pass it along. Twitter, maybe it's the person's sister and she's having a bad day that day and she missed it too. But Instagram, maybe that's where you're going to hit the jackpot. Maybe that day, the guy who does all the decision making, he happens to be watching Instagram. I mean, you want to just really consider that you want to hit him on all these things. If you have a great song and a great story, they want you, guys. So you want to share this. I also looked further on this website and they had a little message that said, to actually submit your story, that there's their email. So they actually had their email right then and there. So then you can send all your information right then and there, guys. Now, other searches that you can do, again, online magazines, blogs, radio stations, websites, podcasts, television stations, music review sites. There's a lot of websites that will listen to your album and give you a review and share that review to their listeners or to their viewers or to their readers. Again, guys, all you need is like one website, one big blog to share your music. And you could potentially reach thousands or hundreds of thousands of listeners. I always tell everyone, if you spend your whole day reaching out to your friends, right? It takes you a few minutes per friend. And then you have to keep talking to the friend, check out the song, come to the show or whatever it is. So you can spend the whole day promoting and maybe you're only going to reach at the most 100 friends, right? And that's the whole day, you're exhausted. But if you get one website that has 5,000 viewers, 10,000 viewers, 100,000 viewers, you have now reached thousands by focusing and making your strategy to where you're just thinking bigger. Do you see what I'm talking about? So I'm going to give you guys one last story that I kind of thought this was really awesome. One of my first experiences in getting published. One last awesome thing to search. Music contests, songwriting competitions, independent music competitions, hip hop song competitions, best music video competitions, right? Whatever style of music, put in your style of music, but put competitions. Some of these competitions have huge cash prizes. I'm talking some of them, you can win $10,000 or you win $5,000 worth of studio time or sponsorships from Guitar Center, or you're going to get a, free keyboard or a free studio or a trip to a recording studio in LA. Competitions are really cool. And I had looked up one and there was a competition that Yahoo was doing. And this was a while back, guys. This was, 15 years ago or something like that, 12 years ago. And one of my first experiences in this was I submitted to Yahoo and I sent in my video. I just recorded a real quick song, guys. I messed up all over the place. I had these big nails on because I was actually doing a photo shoot. And I just told the photographer to film me really quick. I did it one take. It was a song that I wrote. It was very sloppy. I didn't think anything of it. I posted it online and I got a call. Someone called me and they said, go to yahoo.com right now. And I went and guess what? There I was on the front page of Yahoo. At the time, it was just, a lot of people use Google now, but Yahoo was huge back then. Everybody used Yahoo. And I was looking at this going, whoa. And at the time, I still lived in New Mexico. I didn't have any money. I was broke. I was still trying to figure out my life. This made my year. I couldn't believe that I made the front page. And then there was all kinds of celebrities that were commenting. I don't know if you guys remember Tom Green, he was one of my favorite comedians, but there was a bunch of celebrities at the time commenting. They had sent in video comments and talking about how great it was and how much they liked my song. It was very, very cool. And there's a lot of competitions out there where you can get a lot of exposure or cash prizes, right? So you can submit your music videos, submit your singles, submit your stories and all that sort of thing for them to consider you. And just do that Google search, look up something that pertains to you and get to submitting, guys. So those are the 3 things. I hope that you guys feel confident. I showed you the one thing that I did that got TV networks to want to share my music. That was create my story. The 2 main things that are keeping you from getting published and shared and can potentially keep you from going viral, right? That's not you. That's it. If you don't have a press release and a one sheet, how can these websites share your music to their thousands or hundreds of thousands? Like I said, if one website decides to publish your music, you can get shared to hundreds of thousands of people. Your song could go viral just off of one share, you know? And actually, there was a song that I did with a friend, and there was a big European artist that shared it out in Europe, and we ended up getting 1 million plays on that song. It was a cover song that we did actually of Sam Smith's "Stay With Me," and at the time, YouTube, I guess we didn't put the proper credits in the credits, and they deleted our video, and we put it back up there. It's back at a few 100,000 plays, but we lost all that millions of plays. So there's another thing. If you guys are doing a cover song, make sure to give everybody their proper credits, because they will come after you. And I was so bummed because we had gotten so many plays on it. But that's a big one. And 3, how to find popular media outlets. I showed you guys. Look up exactly what you want. Now, some of you guys are going, wow, that was amazing. I totally get it. And some of you guys are going, I need a little extra help, Chris. Can you help me get this across? I need a little bit more explanation. And don't worry, guys, I got you. I have something that I put together to offer you guys for anyone that wants some additional help. The hardest part, and I think the most time-consuming part of this whole process about getting into media is really doing all of the research, right? Finding all of the blogs and the websites and the TV stations and all that sort of thing, going through the websites, trying to find the contact information, finding out if that's the right contact information, looking for the emails, finding out if they even accept independent music in the first place, because there's a lot of places that don't accept unsolicited material, for example. And so that can be the most time consuming. Is it possible? Absolutely. I did it myself. I tell everyone I did a 25 city tour a couple years ago, and I did all my own media. I booked all of it myself, but it took me 3 months. It took me 3 months to do all that. And then, it's just a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of headache. And so what I did was I put together a resource, and a lot of you on here actually already have this. And I want you guys to stick around, because I have some new things that I think are going to be really exciting to also help you better utilize this resource. But this is a list of 8,592 independent magazines, radio stations, blogs, record labels, distributors, music promotion sites, even managers, and Spotify playlists to help your music go viral. And these are all websites and blogs and all those sorts of things that accept music from independent artists like yourself. So I've already done all the research for you. I have all the emails, all of the available contacts. So if they have Facebook, if they have Instagram, if they have a website, even some of them have addresses for people who like to send CDs, or they like to send, promo packs, t-shirts and stuff like that to these places. But, most importantly, those emails are going to make a huge difference, because they're already organized in this resource, and it's organized by media outlets. So let's say you're looking for an independent magazine. All you have to do is click on independent magazines. And let's say you're a hip hop artist. Then all you have to do is go to independent magazines and you click on hip hop. And it's going to take you exactly to those magazines that accept submissions from independent hip hop artists. So you see how much time that can really save you. Not only that, I cover a lot of genres. I cover rock, pop, country, jazz, classical, even goth, alternative. I think there's like 30 different genres in here. I'm trying to remember all of them. I mean, if you are in any type of popular genre, you are covered, guys. It is like every major genre that you can think of. And these are all over the world. Like, it is humongous. Now, if you don't already have this resource, then you can get it now for only $19. I'm going to give you guys a website here in a second, but I want to share with you guys some other things that I've put together recently that most of you guys probably don't even know about, even if you're on my email list. Like, this is all brand new stuff that I'm put together to really help you guys not only go viral, but also even to make money. So I don't know how many of you guys have ever gotten your music licensed or published, but if you have original music, you don't have to even have a hit song. You don't have to have a big fan base. You don't have to ever even be on a Spotify playlist for you to make money off of it. Believe it or not. If you don't know about licensing publishing, this is where people can get your music on, commercials, TV shows, movies, games, and they pay a lot of money. I get daily emails from my agents that are like, hey, guess what? Ford is looking for a song for their commercial. And they pay upwards of anywhere from like 5,000 to 100,000. I have seen up to $100,000. Like usually someone has to sell like a million singles, to make $100,000. Imagine you just get one. Again, your strategy, if your strategy is let's just focus on what's bigger, then you can really make some money. And this is just a screenshot of a music video from a song that I did called Over and Over. Playboy Television actually licensed my song. It got put on their television on their television channel. I put money in my pocket for doing practically nothing. I'm just submitting my songs. And so I'm including this with you guys today. This is something that's brand new. Agents that can get your music on TV commercials, movies, and video games and get you paid for it. So these are really great opportunities. You send your music out there. And not only that, guys, you can research this stuff too. Again, you can Google this if you want. You can Google publishing companies, Google syncing companies, licensing companies. I just put it together in a really easy to navigate resource for you guys. Where you can just click on it. There's emails and there's contacts directly in there. And you can get that at kristinemorel.net/game plan. So you can get both of these things. This is the just an incredible resource because you can promote your music, help your music go viral and get heard. And why not also be promoting your music to get featured on TV? I mean, how cool would it be to be watching TV and hear your music, or to, find out that your song got featured in a movie, and that's lots of these agents. That's all they do. And I have friends that this is all they do for a living. They don't even sell their music like to fans or anything like that. All they do is write music for TV and film and that sort of thing because these pay really well. So you can get both of those by going to kristinemorel.net/game plan. But I have some more stuff that I put together to really, really help you guys, because I've been getting a lot of questions, right? I put out Go Viral, the resource of the 8,592 media outlets, but so many people ask me a lot of questions on how to further increase their chances of getting published, right? So, the hardest part about setting up, this whole, about getting your music and everything featured in media is researching blogs and websites, music review sites, online magazines. So I gave you a solution to that with, my resource Go Viral, but also having a step-by-step plan to walk you through every step more in depth for your press release, your one sheet, and even creating your talking points, right? So that can get really confusing. So basically, I put together a step-by-step plan. I mean, I put together how to create your talking points. I put together video tutorials on how to better create your press releases, your one sheets, and everything like that. I even talk about how I created videos. Like, I went a step further and even created videos to send out to people when I wanted to get on media. I mean, and that was really sealed the deal entirely. And, today we just didn't have time to even get into that, but I cover that in this media blueprint. And so I actually cover every single step that I have taken as an independent to get featured on these major networks. And I also go more into depth about how to create your press release and your one sheets and all that sort of thing. Not only that, I also will say that one of the other biggest questions that I get is people don't know what to say to the TV stations and newspapers and blogs, right? There's tons of guesswork and getting rejected, that I had to go through to figure out what works. So this is a big one. A lot of people ask me about this, about what do I say? And guys, the gist of it is short. You do want to keep it short and sweet. You do want to tell them, introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about what you're doing, give them, a short introduction to yourself and whatever it is that you're promoting. So a lot of you guys can, pretty much figure that out on your own if you'd like. It's pretty simple process, like what I told you just now, your intro, your, info about your project and your contact information. But I actually put together email templates for you guys, for those that are interested in actually getting this whole media booking game plan. And this is email templates that you can literally just copy and paste. Like, you literally just copy and paste your info, fill in the blanks, but it's organized for you already. And these are email templates that I've used. These are basically a skeleton for what you would send out to these people. So you don't have to do any of the guesswork. I'm taking all of the guesswork out of this process. And for all of these things, I'm giving you all of these things. I'm giving you, the go viral. I'm giving you the entire media booking blueprint. I'm giving the email templates, and I'm giving you the agents that can get your music on TV, commercial, movies, and video games for only $47. And this is all, I call this my media booking game plan. Like, this just has so many useful tools for you to use. Like I said, it's those, those email templates are just so easy to just copy and paste. Those agents, you want to send them your music and, get it out there and get it synced and licensed and start making money and go viral. You have this incredible resource, emails, social media contacts for you to get your music out there, to gain exposure, to build fans, all that sort of thing. So I put it in this really, really, inexpensive package for all of you guys, because I know that some of you guys just have no idea where to even begin. And that's why I created this in the first place. And now one thing that I have that is brand freaking spanking new is, I told you guys a story about how I got on the front page of Yahoo, and how I, researched these music contests and that sort of thing. And I told you guys, you can also do the same. You can look up music contests. You can look up opportunities for you to get heard. And then there's amazing contests that have cash prizes. And I told you guys, some of these have cash prizes of like $10,000. Like, these aren't like little cash prizes. Like, these are big cash prizes. These are really, really amazing. So, what I did was, this is brand new. I put together a, pamphlet of the most popular online music contests that have cash prizes. So I put together all this for you. I think there's like 20 or 30 of them, something like 30 of them in there that give up to $10,000, and some of them are, product giveaways. Some of them give you instruments, some of them give you, but it is thousands of dollars of cash prizes, which is really cool. So this is a brand new thing. Again, guys, you can do the work yourself. You can look up all these things, but I've done all the work for you, and I made it really easy for you to get all of these things. So you're getting the entire media booking game plan. You're getting go viral. You're getting all the video tutorials. You're getting the email templates. You're getting the agents that can get your music on TV, and you're getting the online music contests. Now, if you just want go viral, you can get go viral by itself. It's only $19. It's actually on this site, kristinemorel.net/game plan. So if that's all you want, guys, feel free to get that if you'd like. But if you'd like this whole package, it's $47. All you have to do is go to kristinemorel.net/game plan. This is just a really incredible package for you to have all the right tools for you to be able to get your music out there and get, again, gain that exposure, build that fan base. These are the fundamentals, and I have never seen anyone even offer anything like this. Usually people are offering, random things like, hey, I'll send out your music to, 1,000 record labels, but you don't know if that really went out. And guys, I have showed you guys why that doesn't work. Because if you just send out a single to 1,000 record labels, they don't have your story, they don't have a press release, they don't have your one sheet, they don't have, anything to make them even get interested in you. So you can see why that would be totally pointless and it wouldn't be helpful. And not only that, you don't even know if these people are actually sending it out in the first place. And even if they were, again, it doesn't help to just send out a single, and I get probably, 30 or 40 people sending me songs every single day. I don't listen to any of them. I don't have time. I don't have time to listen to 40 songs that people just randomly send me, like no message, no nothing, just sending me songs. Well, I'm not going to check it out because I don't have time. And these are a lot, if I don't have time, can you imagine like record labels? Can you imagine big magazines and blogs and big websites? They definitely don't have time either. That's why it's really important to follow all the steps that I gave you so you can really, really increase your chances of getting shared. And guys, if you have good music and you have a good story, I promise you, you will get good media coverage. Like, there's just no way that you can't, because those are the only two things that you need to be able to get media coverage, as an independent artist, without a budget. that's how you do it. That is the key, and having, and knowing how to find these media outlets, and then already having the emails for you to reach out to them. So this is definitely what you will want and need. I've seen nothing else like this online. I call it my media booking game plan. It's available at KristineMorel.net / game plan. It's only $47, guys. Or if you just want Go Viral, it's only $19. So I have had a great time showing you guys. This was actually really exciting because I've never shared this information with anyone before, or this process. So I hope that you guys found this really helpful, and good luck to everybody. I hope that everyone uses all of this advice, and everything that I've shared with you. And to everyone that got this, the media booking game plan, good luck to you. Make sure to take advantage of everything in this bundle, because this can absolutely be a game changer for your music career and getting your music exposure. All right, everybody, have an amazing day or night or week. I'm Kristine Morel. Thank you so much for checking this out. All right, bye, everybody.